Hey everybody, hope you're doing really well and you're excited for spring and spring break and everything that comes with it. I know us as a family, we're excited for it too, but we've had some really cool and exciting things happen over the last little bit. First off, maybe lesser accomplishments, but still great. Last year, Remax, Western Canada, they always put out these things, which are always a bit of an internal battle for me, but we're very fortunate to be amongst the top 100 Remax agents in Western Canada. I think it was number 75, and the top 2 agents in my office here in St. Albert. So it's like super fortunate and super blessed because of all of you for your support, where over 90% of my business comes from repeat and referral. So that's just people having a great experience and then sharing my information along. And that's really how I support my family and how we go about doing what we do in my office here with me, Janessa. It's such an honor to be able to serve you guys. So that's really great. But maybe more importantly, Grizzlies won our city championship this year. So that was amazing, but such a great group of kids. We did win, which was awesome, but it really wasn't even all about that. It was all about the development these kids saw throughout the year, becoming better young men and young women and just becoming really strong human beings. And I had this really great experience I'm going to share with you just because we're friends, and that we were on ice at Bonaccord in the cold rink out, and we taught our kids about going cleaning up and making sure you're thanking everybody and thanking the rink attendants and doing all that. So the rink attendant, he comes up to me and he's, "Coach, I got to tell you something about your kids." And obviously I'm like, oh shoot, what did somebody do? Somebody did something that we don't want to hear about. But I'm like, okay, what is it? And he said, "I got to tell you, this is the most polite, respectful group of hockey players I've ever met." And as a head coach, that just made me so proud. That was winning the season right there for me, because these kids learned about hard work. They learned that no one's there to clean up after them, and that they've got to be humble and grateful to everybody they meet. And so after we said that, all the kids come by and give that rink attendant a fist bump, say thank you for cleaning the ice, and they go off and clean the room. Just a phenomenal group of kids that I'm so proud of. It was a great year, and hopefully we'll get to see some of them again next year. And hopefully your seasons went well too. One other thing about accomplishments is finally I am launching that Substack. So just some thoughts about personal development, about success, how to navigate through all this without losing your soul. To be a good person, it's going to be truer measure. I'll probably have a link in there somewhere, or you just reach out to me and I'll give you the link. Now, the real estate. Let's get into the stats here of what we're seeing as we're heading into the spring market. Are things picking up? Are they going slow? And I can tell you, last month we talked about there's a tale of two markets with Edmonton and St. Albert. So the St. Albert market, super aggressive, very competitive. The Edmonton market was slower, more sluggish, more in a buyer's market. We're seeing a little bit of a shift there, but not a total shift yet. So I'm going to show you a little bit of those stats. So when we look at Edmonton stats, what we've seen here is we've seen about 1,600 sales. That's up 40% month over month, which is good. And we've got an inventory of about 5,400 units. And so really we're at about 3.4 months of inventory. So that puts us into a seller's market. Remember, anything under 4 is going to be sellers, although it still feels balanced because there's pockets in our market where stuff is sitting on the market for quite a while. We look at our average days on market for detached single family home. It's up to 43 days on market. Last year was 38. And so we're still seeing some days on market. We're seeing our inventory increase. And when we're looking at our high sales, of course, high sale in the city of Edmonton surrounding area was $3.6 million. And we even saw a condo that sold at $1.5 million. So we're seeing some of these sales increase. We're in the time of year where we're going to start to see more listings come to the market, more sales happening, and then often that pushes up our pricing. Let's look at Edmonton's values. Single family detached homes, those are sitting at $571,000, which is up 3% month over month and up 1% year over year. So it's good to see those a little bit of increases, and probably we'll see that continue on as we go through the upcoming months. Semi-detached half duplex properties at $441,000. Month over month, that's up 4%, and year over year, that's up 5%. Our row and townhomes, those are at $307,000, which is up 4% month over month and up 2% year over year. And our apartment style condos, those are up to $212,000. That is down 6% month over month and down 1% year over year. So we did see, again, some high pushes for that apartment style condo. We expect them to land around the 200. That's Edmonton. What's St. Albert doing? St. Albert, what we're seeing currently, if we're sitting here today in my home office and we're looking at the homes, we got 117 active properties 21 pending properties. Last month we had about 97. So we're seeing that inventory increase. Our sales, we're at 57 sales. So that's the previous month. Looking back at February's numbers, 57 sales, January had 38. We're seeing some sales increase. And then year over year, when we're looking back at the year prior, in St. Albert, there were 52 sales. $600,000 and under, we saw about 26 sales, which is up. We had 21 the month before. And then that's 600 to 800, about 22 sales, which is about 12 the month before. And then 800 to $1 million, we saw 7 sales, and then $1 million and up, we saw a couple sales. So what we're seeing is that super active market under $600,000, and it's pushing now above the $600,000 to $800,000. So that is very active. If you're seeing properties in the $450,000 to $550,000 range, most likely, if in St. Albert, you're in a multiple offer scenario. If it's a decent home and you're going to be competing, and you're probably going over list price, because that's just the way the market's been reacting here. We don't know how long this market is going to feel like this. Right now, we're not getting enough inventory to change things, so it's still going to remain like this for the next bit. That's what our market's looking like here in St. Albert, with our average price for a single family detached home at $647,000. That median price is about $612,000. So that's still up. The month before, in January, our average price was $640,000 and our median was $592,000. We've got that up about 1% month over month. And then the year prior was at $630,000. So we're up about 2.6% year over year for property values here in St. Albert. But I would say if somebody purchased a house last year and it was a nice house and they got a fair market value at $450,000, I wouldn't be surprised that house has increased probably 5 to 8% since you purchased it last year. So that market, that 400 to 550, has seen a significant increase over the last year. And specifically, we're experiencing it right now for people trying to get into the market. So our months of inventory, we still got a pretty active market. We're still just over that 2 months of inventory here. And then we saw 2.5 months before. So we're still in a seller's market, pretty active seller's market out here in St. Albert. So that's our real estate stats here. When we're looking back at February's numbers, as we're sitting on the edge of spring, and I can tell you that when next month's numbers come out, we're probably going to see something similar. Increasing prices, increasing sales, and increasing inventory. Specifically St. Albert, probably going to say somewhere where it is. Edmonton, I don't know, it might be a little bit more flexible, maybe a little ups and downs there as we head into spring, but we anticipate we'll still see a strong push here in our market, with things staying relatively stable and then maybe pushing up there a little bit throughout the spring. Any questions you got, you can always reach out to me. All right, have a great rest of your day, my friends. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.